This is Drone Nation, the show about flying drones for fun, business, and a real career. Your hosts are Robbie and Terry, both 15. Every week they break it down so you actually get it.
Welcome back to Flying Drones for Fun, Business, and a Real Career. I'm Terry.
And I'm Robbie, and today we are talking about the future, drone taxis, swarms, and stuff that sounds made up but totally isn't.
Seriously, we looked this stuff up and our brains kind of broke a little.
In the best possible way. Let's start with drone taxis because getting into a flying car is basically everyone's childhood dream.
Companies like Joby Aviation and Archer are already testing air taxis that carry actual humans through actual sky.
Joby's aircraft can fly about 150 miles per hour and travel roughly 100 miles on a single charge.
That's faster than most highway traffic in Los Angeles, which honestly sets a low bar.
Fair point. But the wild thing is, these aren't helicopters. They use multiple small rotors, quieter and way more efficient.
They're called eVTOLs, electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicles, which is a mouthful but also extremely cool to say.
VTOL. Yeah, okay, I see why engineers do this job.
The FAA is already working on rules for urban air mobility, aiming for commercial passenger service sometime in the late 2020s.
So you could be riding a drone taxi before you finish high school. Let that sink in.
My mom can barely let me ride the bus alone, so a pilotless air taxi might be a hard sell.
But Mom, the algorithm has a perfect safety record. Famous last words I know.
Okay, but let's talk swarms, because this is where it gets genuinely science fiction levels of awesome.
A drone swarm is a bunch of drones, sometimes hundreds or thousands, coordinated by software to act like one giant intelligence system.
Intel once flew a swarm of over 2,000 drones simultaneously to create a light show that replaced fireworks.
2,000 drones in the sky. At once, doing choreography. I can barely coordinate putting on 2 socks.
The drones communicate with each other in real time, adjusting positions so they don't collide, like a murmuration of starlings but with batteries.
And it's not just pretty lights. Swarms are being developed for search and rescue, mapping disaster zones, and monitoring wildfires.
Imagine a wildfire breaks out, and within minutes, a swarm is already mapping the perimeter and feeding data to firefighters on the ground.
No pilot needed, no waiting, just instant aerial intelligence exactly when people need it most.
Agricultural swarms are already being used in parts of Asia to pollinate crops and spray fields with millimeter precision.
That's huge because one of the big worries about bee population decline is crop pollination. Drones might literally help feed the world.
We're not saying drones replace bees. Bees are irreplaceable, and also please protect bees.
Robbie and Terry, pro bee, officially on the record.
Now let's go even further out. Like, what does drone tech look like in 2040 or 2050?
Researchers are working on drones that recharge wirelessly from power lines, meaning they could theoretically fly indefinitely without landing.
There's also work on solar-powered high-altitude drones that cruise at the edge of the atmosphere and act like floating cell towers.
Airbus tested one called Zephyr that stayed airborne for over 64 days straight on nothing but solar power.
64 days, I lose my phone charger overnight and consider it a personal failure.
Then there's the concept of drone highways, dedicated aerial corridors in cities with traffic management like air traffic control but automated.
NASA is actually building something called Advanced Air Mobility Infrastructure to make exactly that happen over the next decade.
So the sky above your city eventually has lanes, rules, and rush hour just a few hundred feet above your head.
Drone delivery, air taxis, emergency swarms, floating internet towers, all sharing the same airspace.
Which sounds chaotic, but honestly, road traffic is chaotic too, and we figured that out. Eventually, mostly.
The big challenges are still battery life, weather, regulations, and making sure the public actually trusts flying robots around their neighborhoods.
Trust is huge. A drone crashing through someone's skylight is not going to help the industry's reputation.
That's why safety testing is so rigorous. These companies know one bad headline can set the whole field back years.
But the momentum is real, the investment is real, and the technology is improving faster than almost anyone predicted 5 years ago.
If you're 13 or 14 right now, the career landscape for drone pilots, engineers, and air traffic managers is going to look completely different by the time you graduate college.
We're talking about an industry that the FAA projects could be worth over $90 billion annually within the next 2 decades.
90 billion with a B for an industry that barely existed when our parents were our age.
So learn to fly, learn to code, learn the regulations, because the sky is genuinely not the limit anymore, it's the starting point.
That might be the best sign-off line, and it's not even the end of the episode. Save some for next week, Robbie.
You're right. Stay curious, stay safe. Look up once in a while, that buzzing sound might just be the future. See you next week on Drone Nation.